but also the weight of his wife's literal life in his hands. So it's no surprise to me that he turns to dumb dummies.
Yeah.
Though surely there could have been a better way to make fast cash. Like, I think in one of the scenes, he's like, oh, for $20, he was going to do the mousetrap on his tongue. Bruh.
Yeah, up it a little bit.
Learn from OnlyFans. Jack that up, okay? Know your worth, kid.
Yeah.
You ever heard of DoorDash? Sell some plasma. Like, what? Anyway, he's desperate. Like, he heard the video, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll drink some piss for a few bucks. It should, like, I don't know if there's a price that I could put on for some of the things that he endured, but I'll tell you, it's not $20.
Yeah, no, it has to be more.
First of all, I'm selling feet pics before we get that far, but he does not have the luxury, I'm sure.
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
the Ghouls Next Door.
Next door.
Just a couple of common people, some might say.
Yeah,
pretty
oppressed by the government.
Just some regular folks.
Yeah.
We are the Ghouls Next Door, a media literacy show from a horror lens where we explore the real life, historical, psychological, institutional influences behind our cinematic fears. And as a part of our tech horror series, we are covering actually 2 episodes of Black Mirror, and this is the first one we're doing, which is their episode Common People, which was the first episode of the recent season.
Yeah. And ow. What a... I don't know about you. I was crying.
Yeah.
It was sad. And it was like different than some of the other Black Mirror, because I feel like usually it's like tech, scary, bad. And it's like, that wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
It was the people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was stressy. It was stressy.
I mean, I will argue...
It was a good app.
I will argue that I think most Black Mirror, it's like the tech is scary, but it is scary because of the people who control it and the people who create it, which is exactly like our tech. Like, yeah, that's what I'm always arguing with people, where I'm like, every time we introduce a new tech or media source or whatever, like, it's wild west level where, it's unsupervised and it can be really harmful. Unregulated. Yeah. So, I mean, I am a decent fan of Black Mirror. I haven't watched all of them, I will say. But after watching this one, I was like, wait, is Black Mirror good? And I went back and watched some of previous episodes because I totally missed like complete seasons because I was just tuned out of it.
Also, the world's scary. So it's like, it's hard to come up with dystopian things when outside is already that.
Yeah. Yeah, people make that joke all the time. Like, what are they going to make? Because life is already scary. But it was, to be fair, it's always been scary. And what they build on is what is scary, right? Yeah. It's like, what if this, but worse, right? And so, some of them, like, I think everyone who's watched Black Mirror has like a favorite episode, and for a variety of reasons. We previously covered at least one. No, 2, because we also did Striking Vipers.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, we did that. And then we did Be Right Back, which is underrated. About, trying to resurrect loved ones, which is applicable when in the episode that we talked about last time with Companion, of this idea of like, communicating with an AI or a computer person. It's just like the extra level of like, that's a person that's gone, but we've like taken all their presence online and made them a new person. So you can keep talking to them.
The replica app.
Yes. Which, like I get its purpose. And to each their own when it comes to healing. Right. Yeah. Common People, though, is rough. And so it's an episode of a show, so it's short. It's like an hour. And yet there's so much to unpack. Like every time we were talking about it, I was like, and another thing, and another thing. So I'm glad we're going to talk about a good amount of it. I think, people are discussing it in in decent ways. It's people know that it hits hard and that it's kind of revitalized Black Mirror and its presence. It's definitely the star of season 7. I wouldn't say the rest of them really even compare to the impact and the emotions that I felt. So what a way to be in.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, but maybe I'll agree after I do check it out and then like think back.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are good. Some of them I wish had done better, and yeah, I had bigger expectations for some of them and for some of the actors, and then I was let down, and I was sad.
Oh, it's a bummer.
But you know, that's just media, right? But why don't we hop in so that I can tell you some of the things to take away from the episode? Because like we said, there's a lot. So I'm just going to be talking about 2 things. And then Kat, I think you're talking about 2 things, but there's going to be more.
Yeah. We're going to cover a lot in a short amount of time. Welcome. Go, Gabe.
Awesome. So Black Mirror, Common People specifically, this episode is from 2025. And it's about when a medical emergency leaves school teacher Amanda fighting for her life, her desperate husband Mike signs her up for Rivermind, a high-tech system that will keep her alive. And it's directed by Ali Pinkue. Common People is a heartbreaking and terribly realistic episode of the tech horror show Black Mirror. Opening up the recent season, Common People drops viewers directly into tech hell with a tragic story about the lengths a couple will go to stay alive. And Black Mirror's episode exists in an alternate dimension where certain technical advances have developed on a science fiction level, tweaking our own world into something slightly more unbelievably awful. Arguably, it's the tech that is unbelievable, not the behavior around the tech. Like, some of the stuff is like, I don't know if we'd ever have that. And then it's like, wait, maybe we would. Maybe that is real. But the way that people are acting about it, the way people would use it, like, I still stand, like, they've used it a few times with the memory, like where it records your like life and then you can watch back your memories. And the first episode that introduced that tech is this guy like suspecting his wife of cheating on him. And so he wants to see her brain. And I was like, of all the things to use that for. Yeah. like for me personally, I was like, oh, I could definitely use that. How many times I've been gaslit by myself and others? Like,
I was like talking to Isaiah yesterday. I was like, what was my I can't even remember people's names or faces. Like, I was trying to think back of like people I knew, and I'm like, I can't even imagine them in my brain. I need this kind of technology to watch my memories.
Right.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's also like, who has access to those memories? I will say there is an episode in season 7 that uses that technology, or like it's hinted that technology is a part of it, and it's used in a really interesting way that I appreciate. Okay. In a way to like share our memories of a person that we've lost, so that we can all kind of live that. So that part was cute. It's actually, I will say that one was a really good episode. It's not Common People level, but I genuinely enjoyed it. Yeah. Great acting, great situation, very simple. Awesome. So couple Amanda and Mike are common people, working class and in a simple, comfortable love. They celebrate their anniversary each year at the bar of their first date, eating large hamburgers while listening to terrible karaoke. Like, that's their ideal night out. My dream date. And he knew that. Amanda is a teacher for young kids, and Mike is a blue-collar worker. And their life isn't anything magical, but it is perfect for them. They enjoy each other's company and plan for a happy accident, hoping to share that love with a baby someday. It's like the most common you can get. One day, one of Amanda's frequent headaches is revealed to be an inoperable tumor that threatens her life, and her only option to continue living is to subscribe to a new service, Rivermind, that will remove the tumor in her brain and then replace it with tissue that's like synthetic, that is powered by servers in other brains. It's revealed. As someone who gets frequent headaches, it is a little troubling. That was like the first thing I texted you. I was like, Gabe, this can't happen to you. And then you're like, nah, it's fine. They scanned it. I scanned. I was like, oh, this is not happening to me. Maybe watching this episode inspired me. And if you suffer from headaches, please check it out.
Yeah.
So with this, the surgery would be free. Cool. But the subscription to keep her brain online will need to be considered because that's it. You know, it's a monthly fee. Wanting to save his wife, Mike agrees to the program, and Amanda is living again as if nothing has happened. And like a wish on a monkey's paw, Amanda begins to suffer from a variety of symptoms, of sometimes laughable, other times tragic symptoms and side effects of her low tier subscription. She's on the bottom. She sleeps far too much. Her brain is acting as a server for other users, we find. Soon she starts launching into random verbal advertisements prompted by conversations around her, like some twisted Truman Show ad placement.
Yeah.
Like coffee. Like she starts with coffee too, which is one of the memorable like Truman shows, which I think is like,
who are you talking to? Yeah.
But she doesn't even know. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, you just like hijacked my brain.
Yeah.
Because like the way she's doing it does kind of feel like how when you're watching like TikTok or Reels and people are telling you stories and they're like, oh, and by the way, you know, here's this thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But her brain is hijacked. So her lower tier, well, so the advertisements and the fact she does not have control over them does jeopardize her job with children and her love life. Yeah. It's like a scene where to talk about lubricant or something. And he's like, wow, way to kill the mood. And then she's like, having trouble getting it up. I was like, oh no. We're good.
It's like contextual ads. And it's like, no, sometimes you shouldn't put ads somewhere. It's fine.
Please give us space. Yeah. Her lower tier status limits her travel to only within her current county, which is that's tiny, meaning they have to skip their annual visit to their anniversary restaurant. Yeah. It's the first of the heartbreak, really. With each new limitation or complication, River Minds rep Gaynor enthusiastically shares that there are always the higher level tiers. You know? For just $800 more, for $800 more a month, you can travel more. And you won't have these pesky ads interfering with your life. For $1,000 more, you can hack into your brain to change your mindset and your abilities. And it's more on top of what they already are doing. No. Desperate to keep up these payments and his wife's well-being, Mike resorts to some desperate measures that spiral out, leaving him injured, drained, and emotionally distraught, while Amanda begins to waste away to sleep and the strain of her operating system. Common People is a particularly heartbreaking episode as it feels so much like our lives now. A sharp criticism of our healthcare system, subscription services, and capitalism, Common People pulls no punches despite being housed on the predatory subscription system, Netflix. Yeah. So I think one of the big things, and you know, people are going to talk about it, is that this is a subscription to life that feels like death, right? This is my section for this is specifically Amanda's horror, like what she's experiencing. And then I'll also share what like Mike's horror is, right? So Black Mirror has had some bangers in the past. I'm looking at you the entirety of season 3. Like I was looking at the list and I was like, dang, hit.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
That has like San Junipero, like, the DJ. Anyway, you can also check out that episode that we did on Be Right Back about grief and tech. But it's been a hot minute since it left viewers truly broken over an episode. I think like, was it the crocodile one or the bear? Like a few of them were really rough. And I remember people being like, get emotionally ready. And I was like, I'm good. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, I'm sad. But it's been a minute, you know, like some of them have been entertaining and fun. They had like the choose your own adventure one. That was cool. We'll talk, like we're going to talk about next episode is one from last season. So like there are definitely gems in there, but Common People is brilliant in its simplicity and believability. We live in a subscription hell these days, today. Everything from our media, many media, our shopping, and even our printers are holding us hostage over subscription costs. There's a whole video about how you have to sign up for your printer use, and it's supposed to like see when your ink gets low to send you new ink. But what it does is if you don't keep up with your subscription to your printer that you already paid for, even if there's ink in there, it just will not print. That's crazy.
It's like
that's your printer, right? That's not even anything important. Okay, like,
or like even this like streaming service, like you don't own your media either. So like a lot of games, like if you have digital games, you don't own them. They can take them back at any time. Like that's why the new Switch is getting a lot of heat. Like you don't own anything, and that's like the whole thing is they don't want us to be able to own anything, so that we have to keep paying money.
Yeah, I think PlayStation is doing that too, where like it's gonna just be like you don't have this anymore. And media, like we've said it before, if you like an album or a film, like having those physical copies of those things, like kind of going back almost like hoarder status here, because we don't know, it could go in the vault and be gone forever. And I just can't live like. Let's bring back Blockbuster as a community space, like a library where anyway, someone give me seed money so I can make a new Blockbuster. Come on, somebody. Anyway, the second episode of Black Mirror, like ever, played with the annoyance and intrusion of pop-up ads. And this feels like a natural progression from that imagined future now that we have even more understanding of the potential future of our tech in regards to like pop-up ads. I remember it's like, what's 1,000 berries or whatever? It's merits. It's not berries. Berries is One Piece. It's merits, and he like closes his eyes and it's like, open your eyes, you have to watch it. Elon Musk is trying to create brain chips. And if you think those wouldn't have annoying ads and worse subscription for access to things, maybe even one day your eyesight, then you should read more. You should touch grass and you should read more books. For more on brain chips and why you should be afraid of them, you can check out Kat's section from our Possessor episode, which should have you shaking in your boots about it. And while writing that joke about losing your eyesight for this script, I discovered that there's literally like retinal implants that exist right now for sight impaired people that can have their eyesight shut off.
Yep.
A user, Barbara Campbell, reported in an article in IEEE Spectrum that her Argus 2 retinal implant system powered down on her when she was walking in the subway. Like she just couldn't, it was like, oop, it's off.
Yeah, beep, 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 gone.
Because the companies that help these people see have gone under. And so now those people, their sight is literally unsupported tech.
And it's like still in their heads.
It's in their heads. It was how they were able to see. And now they can't because the company that was managing that is gone.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was instead it was like a paywall. Like you didn't pay your stuff. There goes. It's like repo. Like stealing your organs. Like.
Yeah. There's also that show on that I keep trying to get us to watch, but it's like really long, Upload. But it's like you upload your consciousness after death, and they have this whole like once you get like further into it, they have this like subscription service. So if you don't pay, you go to like bad afterlife and you get paused. Like your consciousness, like their whole screen turns gray.
You're just like dead.
And you just sit in limbo. And then you have to sit there until someone pays the bill so that you're like afterlife subscription.
What if the people
continued.
who love you are dead? What? Anyway.
They also have this, they incentivize like uploading your brain, which is killing yourself so that they can have more user. It's like a whole thing, and then make like slavery within the virtual space. It's the time.
Oh my gosh. It's, I mean, like stuff like we could absolutely have more like sci-fi episodes. I've always wanted to do Altered Carbon, especially like season 1. I haven't seen season 2. Would love to check that out. I think it's interesting. But even like even like other episodes of Black Mirror have that idea. Like San Junipero, they upload their brain, right? And that's like a positive, but like there's other ones that's not positive. You know? So you know, like that's crazy and scary. And honestly, not too far-fetched. So all this to say that the world of Black Mirror has tech that impacts their universe, and if you pay attention, you can see how it grows over time. Even in this episode, Amanda is teaching her students about ADI bees, which were launched in the episode Hated in the Nation, where computer bees were designed to pollinate now that our own like real bees were extinct and are still very necessary to keep us going. Like we're in that moment now. We're in the moment now where we need robot bees.
Yeah.
But those bees that were created had been hacked to kill people deemed the most hated online. And it was like a whole thing about like cancel culture, but it was also about like
surveillance
and who was controlling it. And it's a really great episode. And if like we ever did like, here's our top 10 of Black Mirror episodes, that would be on the top for me, as well as Nosedive about like your social standing.
Oh, that one was terrifying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So some of those, we again, if you like this, and next episode, and you want to hear more Black Mirror coverage, I am happy to do that.
I'm surprised we haven't, to be honest. It's funny.
It comes up sometimes, and then we were like, something else, a movie. Anyway, the series even has a tech horror that pokes fun at its home service, Netflix. It's called Streamberry. And we see this in a few episodes, but it's most featured in Jonah's Awful, which is what we're going to be covering next. So Streamberry, I think they even call it out as Netflix. And there's an episode about this documentary, like a true crime documentary that gets to Netflix, and you see it on Netflix in it. And I swear I saw a real tech document, or not a tech, a true crime documentary that looked like it was the same story, but it was real. And I was like, what in the inception is happening right now? And it was on Netflix. Like, it's on Netflix. Yeah. I have not watched the true crime documentary because I'm a little afraid of it's real.
Yeah.
Because it came out after the episode. I can't. Anyway, so while the show is one of science fiction horror, it also leans closer to speculative fiction in its prediction of our own world's technological advances, even more so in its prediction of how the companies and people who control these technological advances will use them. Everything has a subscription model now. As we grew from cable cutting, like, oh no, I pay $70 for all 120 channels. Now we're paying significantly more to each singular media app. Like, let's go back. Let's uncut the cord. Let's cord back up.
Well, it's because it seems more reasonable because it's like a lower. You're like, oh, you're paying like $14.99, and it's like, no, you're not paying $14.99. You're paying like hundreds of dollars. It's just a bunch of $14.99s,
right?
And people don't. We don't know how to do math.
Yeah,
and I'm a part of the problem. I don't know how to do math, but like, it's so real because it feels less. Like it feels little, so you're more willing to like take on more and more, and it's dumb.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a rouge, and Netflix started it, and we used to be able to. At least like, okay, I'll take on HBO, you take on Amazon Prime, you take on
now we
Netflix,
can even share
them, and now that's out. So
it's
we're living in a nightmare. We pay for gaming services, phone services, our printers, photo apps, shopping sites, food delivery, book lending, and nearly anything else you can think of. I'm sure there's more, right? And that's just off the noggin. I was like thinking of stuff that I've paid for. Editing software. What we're recording right now is a subscription service.
Yeah.
Thank God YouTube is free. Knock on wood. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
In our current world where life-saving medicines are prescription-based, which is healthcare subscriptions, a system that leads to poor people dying from preventable or manageable diseases and illnesses, it's not a far leap that if we found a technology that allowed us to keep people alive or further improve the lives of the elite, that we would absolutely charge a monthly fee. At the very least. And it would start very accessible. Ironically, viewers on the lower tier plans of Netflix had to suffer through ads while watching this episode. Yep. So it's pretty...
I'm on the lowest tier of Netflix, and yes, I did have to suffer through ads while watching it.
I'm so sorry. I would share my Netflix with you.
But we can't.
We're family. You just live in a different house. What? My mom is family. I can't share it with my mom. Like, what is happening? Anyway.
I know.
While Amanda's spontaneous ad reads were laughably sad, and the ever-changing tier system that left them in the common plan angering, it was the use of Amanda's brain for other users that hurt me the most. That's what hit me. I was like, ouch. Like, because it was like, you know, when she's doing the things, you're like, haha. You know, like that, the video, the gif of the boy where he's like smiling and then he's crying. Like, that's what I felt like. But that part where they revealed like she's a server, and then you see anyway, let me tell you, they weren't warned, like this couple is warned that the only side effect really of Rivermind is that she'll sleep more. And Amanda laughs this off at some point, saying it was always something she wanted to do more of, only the sleep isn't restful. She isn't sleeping at all. Rather, her brain is being used as a server for other Rivermind users, most undoubtedly those of the higher tier systems.
Mm-hmm.
This episode hits in many ways, but this struck me the hardest as it represents so much of the effects of our new technology or energy systems on the sources that they use, right? This process represents the impoverished and vulnerable people whose land we pillage for resources, leaving them with toxic land and water, an increase in natural disasters, and other inhumane treatment, even war. These developing countries are left with the fallout of our siphoning, while the more developed countries thrive and aspire for better iPhones. We want cheap iPhones, so we're going to go to the cobalt mines. Screw the people who live there. Right? Fracking provides energy for some while leaving the fracked places with toxic water and land. AI provides answers in silly photos of your kid if they were in Hogwarts, while robbing areas of water and contributing to our heat crisis and the fires in LA. Right? There's always a source to our technological advances that is actively being harmed while the wealthy thrive. And the practices of these technologies is kept far away from the consumers, allowing them the convenience of shutting out their contribution to the issue. We talk about this a lot, right? It's really hard in a capitalistic system to not be contributing to actively to the harm of others because we just got to exist. And we are
and it's
common
built
people.
into everything. Yeah.
It's built into everything. We are common people. This is what we can afford.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even afford to do this differently a lot of the time, right? Like, so while the woman in the commercial was able to be the best mom she could be, I also love that actress. She's so funny. Tapping into all sorts of mental benefits she leached from other users, right? She's like, oh, now I can play pickleball or something. Amanda slowly wasted away, eventually sleeping up to 16 hours a day and denied not only the simple common life pleasures, but her future as a mother too. Like this other lady gets to be mom of the year on her brain. Using her brain power. And she's not even allowed to be a mom because that costs more. Because that was a good line though. It was like, it's hard work. Your brain is working really hard when you have a baby in there. As many of the characters in other Black Mirror episodes in some way ask for the repercussions to their action, like they each made a conscious choice to interact with the tech that changed their lives. Like they're like, I'm subscribing, right? I'm signing up for this. They're saying yes. Some of them coerced for sure. Others, desperate. But Amanda didn't get that choice. It was made for her. And in good faith by her living husband. Like, I do not fault him for it. But it does make it a truly heartbreaking character, right? Because I think...
it wasn't a choice, yeah.
It was chosen for her and, like, is not at all, like, terribly comparable, but just this lack of choice and, like, her body being used against her will, like, without her, like, permission... had me thinking of Adriana Smith, like having been kept alive against her will and that of her family for some bigger agenda, right? Like it had nothing to do with her. And while not as cruelly, right, as that situation, Amanda is stripped of her autonomy as soon as she gets that surgery. Her brain is never hers again. Instead, she becomes a piece of tech for a company, a cog in a greater machine of capitalism, of which we all play a part. And she, sadly, is not a part that the system deems of value.
Yeah.
So that's her horrors. My other section here is the emotional weight of caregiving, which I think is Mike's horror. Because like I just said, like, absolutely it was not her choice, but I understand why he did it. And like, put in the same position, there's a good chance I'd make the same choice, you know, like for my loved ones. So while Amanda's side of the story is especially tragic, we can't overlook Mike's. He's going through it in this. And I don't blame Mike for making the choice he did in saving his wife's life. For what we see, this woman is his best friend and someone who he is fully intended to grow old with and grow a family with. It's a no-brainer, pun intended, for him to keep his wife alive, no matter the cost. And this decision weighs heavily on him, even looking past the obviously large life decision. This is also a substantial financial decision that he's making on his own. And they are a couple. They have been making decisions together, financially and otherwise, for all the years they've been together. right?
Yeah.
And he signs up knowing they'll have to tighten some purse strings and that he would be the one to put in that extra effort. With each upgrade, he feels the weight of his initial decision, but also the weight of his wife's literal life in his hands. So it's no surprise to me that he turns to dumb dummies.
Yeah.
Though surely there could have been a better way to make fast cash. I think in one of the scenes, he's like, oh, for $20, he was going to do the mousetrap on his tongue. Bruh.
Yeah, up it a little bit.
Learn from OnlyFans. Jack that up, okay? Know your worth, kid.
Yeah.
You ever heard of DoorDash? Sell some plasma. Like, what? Anyway, he's desperate. Like, he heard the video, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll drink some piss for a few bucks. It should, like, I don't know if there's a price that I could put on for some of the things that he endured, but I'll tell you, it's not $20.
Yeah, no, it has to be more.
First of all, I'm selling feet pics before we get that far, but he does not have the luxury, I'm sure. As extreme as Dumb Dummies is, it feels like an aggressively honest representation of the pressures on caregivers. For many who put their lives on hold to support and care for a loved one who is no longer able to fully care for themselves, this desperation, tiredness, and perseverance is relatable. Like, despite that, he keeps going. He finds a way. He finds a way. And while he wasn't overtly caring for Amanda in the traditional way caregivers do, right? Like, he wasn't like caring for her body in that way. Mike is living his life in much the same way as caregivers. He, like Amanda, is forced to live in the moment, taking things day by day, hoping for another tomorrow that may not come. And it's emotionally draining as we see the fatigue on Mike's face grow until the very end when he's desperate to end it all. And despite the pain of the circumstances, their love for each other is always there, reminding us why we continue that fight anyway. But even more accurate to this experience is the lack of support for Mike in the caring of his wife. Despite being loyal customers who were there from the start and always paid on time, they are denied any support, understanding, or leeway when Mike loses his job. While there are programs throughout the country for caregivers, there's no guarantee you could have that support if you needed to make that big life-changing decision. Some people are really just doing it by the skin of their teeth. In our section, I will have some ways to help links with some resources. And I'm open, please share if you know of any as well. Would love to support the caregivers out there. There's also a terrible undercurrent of ableism that stems from the episode. Like, there was a bit of icky feelings because she's essentially like a differently abled person at this point. And I think the tension and like obligation that's put on him can be interpreted, like, I can hear people in their living rooms being like, just kill me, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like so ableist and gross.
Yeah.
And as we see Amanda go in the end, it seems as an act of mercy since her quality of life has diminished so severely. I will say that the only solace in that moment is that Amanda makes that choice in the end.
Yeah, she's the one.
It's her moment of serenity. He turned it up for her, and she finally lets go of this second life. And that's like the best we could do for her, right? But overall, Common People feels like a true return to form for Black Mirror, embracing the speculative fiction tinged with horror we had grown to love for so many years. And while we can joke that our current reality has been so horrifying that Black Mirror didn't know how to catch up, it seems we can be assured that the team has been keeping up with us all along, watching as the world changes in the face of new technology. And I am thankful that such a show exists. And while it is on a subscription platform with tiered system, no less, I still appreciate its existence. And for more on the irony of big tech media creating critical media that's even against itself, check out our episode on Severance Season 2. Kat has a really great piece about it.
There's a little conflict of interest happening.
Yeah, like why do you don't get to say?
You can only say so much, you know. They're in on the joke.
Right. But that being said, this episode does say a lot, and it really shook people because they were like, you really let them say all that? Like, they're talking about you. Like, even Jonas Awful kind of feels like, we're talking about you right now. There's a writer's strike. Like, you know? Like, So, I mean, commend them for being able to let it go.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder what like the approval process is, like, because they have a lot of shows and movies and all that stuff on their platform. It's like, how do they go about the approval process? Like, was someone from Netflix actively in the room? I don't know. Will they get in trouble for it later? Who knows? But yeah, it is a conflict of interest for sure. But I think I agree. They did a lot with the episode, and it was so real and painful. So I'll get into healthcare capitalism, which is our reality very much right now. At the time of recording this, we're also like just following the big beautiful bill passing. So I'm going to be talking a bit about that too, just because it's a little bleak right now. And we're hoping that in the coming weeks there'll be like more like, this is what you can do to fight back, that we can add in, or like pathways to resources so that people don't lose their healthcare, stuff like that. But when we were doing a lot of searching, unfortunately, it was mostly just like, this is terrible. And we're like, yes, we know. How fight, how fix? And it was a struggle to find much. So if you, as Gabe mentioned, like if you have any recommendations, we would definitely appreciate it so that we can kind of use our blog as a resource share. And if not, I mean, it's what it is. We'll look ourselves as well. So, but in our Fall of the House of Usher episode, we talked about predatory, greedy nature of our healthcare capitalism that we live under. With how society and our economy is set up, these companies are incentivized to put profits above people. And in Black Mirror's Common People, we see the same horror fictionalized, and I'll say barely, because it was very close to reality. And really close to home for me personally. Like, I don't know if anyone else was sobbing at the end or if that was just me, but like, it was, I guess people have like reflected that this episode was just really rough. So I'm sure a lot of people empathize with the characters, but I was just like, wow, I'm ruined for like a week. I don't know if I've just been a baby lately or what, but like, it was a rough episode. So prepare yourself mentally before going in, because it definitely hurts. And when we commodify healthcare, we make life-saving medication inaccessible. The subscription-based model in Common People echoes real-world healthcare, thinking insulin, inhalers, cancer treatment, overpriced accessibility equipment. These are not optional services. For chronically ill, critically ill, and disabled people, they are essential. And yet they are priced as luxuries. So to be so honest, and also like to talk about my personal experience, I sometimes will just let myself wheeze because inhalers are overpriced and I have to ration. And that's like not a unique experience. Like it's like poverty logic where you're like, what can I pay to avoid this? Or like, what can wait versus not?
Yeah. How much can I suffer before I have to shell out some money?
Exactly. Because this is like when you look at the cost, it's just not achievable. And we also see the subscription model in our insurance premiums. Some plans are better than others, and many are unaffordable for most. So you have like the crappy insurance that's like still a lot of money, but gives you like basically no coverage. Your premiums are still really high. Some things are like, you're very limited in the subscriptions you can get. If you're actually dealing with heavy medical expenses and like illnesses and you need a lot of testing, you'll get denials. The adjuster did not appear from nothing. We have situations that require and are resulting because of these really exploitative companies that are harming people. And as someone who is currently uninsured because I literally can't afford it and who lives with a chronic illness, I'm a little biased against the insurance companies, to be honest.
It's
in
fair.
Many ways. I'm living pieces of what this episode depicts. Obviously not to the same extent, but like pieces of it. And when you're uninsured, but you really need consistent healthcare, there are some workarounds, like something that was circulating a lot on like Instagram and TikTok was the direct primary care model, which is basically you're paying a primary care physician for like a subscription essentially, so that you can have access to consistent healthcare but without insurance. So like I pay a fixed monthly fee of $50 to access for basic care, but it's not perfect by any means. I don't think I'd recommend it at this stage because as it doesn't cover like testing, imaging, or emergencies. A blood workup and testing can run about like $400 for like a test. Like one test.
Yeah.
And when you have to get multiple tests done, it becomes impossible to afford. I can get prescriptions for my inhalers, which is great. But if anything serious happens, I'm basically out of luck. So hopefully when Penny opens up their enrollment period from November to January, I'll be able to hop on in there and get some health insurance. No. But it's yeah. And unfortunately, I'm not alone, as there are millions of people who are uninsured, as well as millions who will be joining the pool of uninsured people after the passage of this budget bill. It does drastic cuts to Medicaid and Medicaid. Like, it just really guts that system, and also makes all these new requirements that will make it so millions no longer qualify. So what is refreshing about Common People, which Gabe touched on, is that, like, the villain isn't only tech, like, it's very much the humans who are exploiting it. And Rivermind has created a life-saving device which turns a revolutionary treatment into a money pit. As highlighted in the article, The Real Horror of Black Mirror's Common People is Disability Under Capitalism, Amanda's story hits close to home. Her life is sustained through a paid subscription. Her body becomes property, as Gabe was saying. Her life force becomes currency. And survival is the subscription. You have to pay to live. And this is the reality of a lot of disabled Americans, or Americans with disabilities, who have to constantly battle against insurance companies and care providers to receive basic services. This isn't the only horror story of Common People. Amanda is a teacher and Mike works in construction. They are both essential jobs, yet neither offers livable wages. And that's before they even have a child.
Yeah.
This is not just a medical horror, it's a societal failure. And their financial hardships impact every facet of their lives. How far they can travel is already impacted by this. They can't afford to go that far. How much time they can spend with each other, and their day-to-day health and quality of life. So when you aren't in an upper financial bracket, essentially, your quality of life is going to decrease. Immediately, because of how much you're going to have to work, about how much you're going to, like, have to basically play the poverty game, where it's like, can I afford this or forego this? And it's like, most of these things are needs. It's not just like you want to get yourself a coffee. It's like, should I pay my medical bills, or should I, like, get this medicine, or should I even go see a doctor? I've been having headaches. Do I need to go there? Nah, it costs too much, so no. And then your headaches compound until you have to go to a hospital, and then it becomes a whole other problem. So
yeah, like, you're making all those sacrifices every day, right? It's like you want 3 things, you have to compromise, and you get 2.
Yeah,
tops.
And it has nothing to do, like, with their effort at all. Like, they're working their asses off, like, literally. And it's like, not that that's what necessitates care, or, like, makes you, like, feel sorry for the situation. Like, their lives matter regardless, but it's not like they're not trying, and that's, like, it makes it frustrating to, like, watch, because you're like, oh, I know people who have, like, lived this experience, and before they were given a literal barrier, they have lived pretty isolated lives because of their poverty. And Amanda's health issues isolate her even more. This is a reflection of the fact that many Americans with disabilities and chronic illnesses similarly are forced into isolation because of denial to care. Our world is not accessible enough. To access many places, you need accessibility equipment, which is often not covered, or you have to, like, argue for it extensively. This greatly limits mobility outside of the home for many people with disabilities, and for no good reason. It's not like there's no argument that they don't need it. Right. It's just that there's greed, and they don't want to cover it. And there's also been, like, a long history of just trying to hide people with, like, differences, and forcing them to stay inside by, like, making the world outside not accessible to receiving those humans. And it's silly, because accessibility has been proven to help literally everyone. Ramps don't just help wheelchair users. They also support the elderly, stroller access for infants and toddlers, as well as just better on your knees and joints. It's also a more efficient and effective way to get up something.
Yeah.
There are so many accessibility features that many people take for granted that were hard fought for and pioneered by people with disabilities. So how we see Amanda forced to stay home and within her county, many people with disabilities are forced into the same restrictions.
And I will say disability is, like, one of the most accessible things for people. Because if you live long, which if you have the, like, if you get that role of life where you get to live long, you will be a differently abled person, period.
Yeah.
And now you don't have health insurance.
So with that vein in mind, the truth of the matter is that the majority of Americans are one big health scare away from financial ruin. We don't have savings. We don't, like, our environment is killing us slowly. We are stressed, overworked, and undervalued. Recently, a bill was signed, as we mentioned at the beginning, will remove millions from their healthcare benefits. And the myth that people without insurance are simply irresponsible is propaganda. Many of us earn too much for Medicaid, but not enough to afford coverage. And when the uninsured population increases, we all suffer. Hospitals are forced to cover the gap through closure or cost shifting, which means premiums for insured individuals will rise because the hospitals have to compensate for the funding that they have to expend to cover people without insurance. Because it was like a $38 billion a year thing in the current landscape. It's only going to get worse. So, according to the American Hospital Association, in an article titled Fact Sheet, One Big Beautiful Bill Act would significantly reduce availability of coverage in the health insurance marketplaces. This pattern has shown that this pattern leads to higher premiums, reduced quality of care, and more medical bankruptcies. And despite paying more, the U.S. has some of the worst health outcomes globally. In a recent report titled U.S. spends the most on healthcare, but outcomes are among the worst, they state that despite paying the most for healthcare, Americans have some of the worst health outcomes. Researchers found that the U.S. has the lowest life expectancy of the 10 countries that they studied, which was like New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland, and like other countries. And we lead in preventable and treatable deaths, things that could have been prevented.
We're number one.
Go. And specifically listing these are preventable and treatable deaths, and even with insurance, because the prices are so high that even with insurance, it's cost prohibitive. And Americans face massive financial burdens. And the kicker is that publicly funded healthcare systems, like those in Australia, Switzerland, and New Zealand, consistently outperform ours for a fraction of the cost. There's like
that's a socialism, can't have that.
Yeah. Ugh, makes me want to move to New York. But subscription services for essential goods is another big issue. Like, we have things that are essential, like as Gabe was saying, like subscriptions for prescriptions. You have to pay for your medication. You can Klarna, basically, or an equivalent service, basically anything. You have groceries, medical expenses, arguably essential human needs. You can Klarna that. So you split it up into smaller payments. It's basically what we did to cable, but to our daily life. You can make something that was like $600, $50 a month, and it's more manageable. Or if even like going like lower than that, like you have a bunch of $14 a month things that stack. So you say yes, and then you have this like debt loop that stacks into a really unsustainable, a bit like you can't pay for that long term. It ends up being like really cost prohibitive, and then you're in this debt loop, and you have interest too. So like if you think of like sometimes you need something more urgently, some people immediately, just because if their credit's not good enough, you get interest right away. Or if you need it like urgently and you want to make your payments smaller, you're more likely to accept interest. So you're trying to buy groceries for your family, and now you're in like debt. It's just like and there's a positive to it in one small, minute area. And that's like now people who could not afford that or like had to wait for a paycheck to hit can access groceries. That's great. But it comes at a cost in terms of like, as you said, the interest rates, but also just like the stacking of this. So it ends up being more kind of like what we see with like everyone has a subscription service. We used to just pay $70 a month for cable, and now we have like hundreds of dollars worth of subscription services for less value, essentially. So it's just very inherently exploitative. Like even if like sometimes it ends up being good, it harms a lot more than it does good. And so I think while it is a balance, it definitely just is a challenge that I think people are going to have be exploited to harm people, essentially. And also it's like other subscription services that we see unfold in common people is very similar to how our healthcare premiums work. Or if we think, Gabe was talking about like Netflix, you know, the subscription model is basically gets you hooked on the service. And then you have to keep going. And I have ads Netflix, and it didn't used to be ads Netflix. You would be able to have all of the services, and it was great. And you had no ads, and it was lovely. You could watch all the movies you wanted. Now they have like premium sites where you can't even access some of the content because it's behind the premium services. So like they say they have all these movies, and then you go to click in, and it's like, that's actually just for premium.
Yes.
Peasant. You can't have that,
God.
actually. And I'm watching ads for all my shows. So it's just like, it sucks.
Yeah, it's like vaccine. But that just happened to me for a beloved audiobook app where I was like, you know, I pay for the app already. I subscribe. And then I was like, ooh, a book I really want to read. I click on it and like, you can't touch that, actually. It's right there. I know which one you're talking about.
It made me mad because I also had a similar thing. Them.
Those are for premium. And I wrote a bad review on the App Store. I've never done that because I was so peeved. And they were like, sorry, we have to make money. And I was like, no, screw you. I'm already paying you.
Like, and the issue is that companies, because they have investors, is like, that they have to keep profiting. And it's like, to keep profiting, you have to exploit people. Like Bo Burnham was talking about it once I saw like on TV, and he was like saying that they just want to monopolize every second of our lives. It's like the subscriptions are like, they will never be satisfied.
Right.
It will never just do the service, call it a day. They need to keep profiting. And the only way to keep doing that is to literally invade our heads and take every second of our life. Because now time is money. Now, so like,
and the subscription models don't work. Like they're actually like not a good financial decision for an organization. Like because like you said, you have to keep trying to get more and more, and what you're giving is not a lot. And so you're just like almost chasing that high every single time because your investor is going to ask for more and more, and then you have to up the prices, and then people leave.
It's gross.
So
yeah, and Gabe, thank you, put a quote in here from the episode that fits so perfectly, where they say, honestly, it's less than you think, because we're really just trying to drive uptake, so our pricing is really reasonable, and the surgery is free. And then once you're in, you literally have it in your brain. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah. It's keeping you alive. It's keeping her alive.
And you're going to be like, no?
It's literally pay us or die. And I mean, that's like literally what it is now with subscriptions or prescriptions.
I used to want a robot body, but like in this hellscape now, if we embrace socialism, maybe.
Yeah.
But until that day.
But it ends up being repo and they're going to take your leg, you know?
No. I don't trust the people that be to create something that won't poison me and kill me. Like.
Yeah. Or use you.
Yeah. Like I just. Sometimes you just gotta wheeze. It's where I'm in my current stage of life. That's what it is. But after that, they take the tiers and the services that were once available to all subscribers are now tiered behind a paywall. So the last thing I'll talk about is how like GoFundMe specifically as emergency care has been like manipulated. Thinking of like Mike's experience where it's just like things that should not have to be funded are funded, and it's like, look at this heartwarming story, and it's like, no,
trauma porn.
Yeah, it's gross. Like, so for example, GoFundMe specifically mimics what we see take place in common people for Mike, and we have seen GoFundMe and other crowdfunding sources attempt to cover the gaps in insurance funding as well as access to care. So when emergency care becomes inaccessible and overpriced, what we see play out in common people is one of the only options Mike had available. It was like basically the OnlyFans version of GoFundMe.
Yeah.
But with like
abuse.
Meaner. Yeah. Abuse. And this is a case for many people who have to sell a story of human pain in order to encourage people to donate to their campaign to save themselves or the people that they love. In an article titled GoFundMe Has Become a Healthcare Utility, they unpack how in recent years GoFundMe has become a crucial platform for individuals seeking financial assistance to cover medical costs, particularly as healthcare expenses in the United States continue to rise. The article goes through many personal stories of personal medical hardship, like that of Andrea McCoy, who turned to GoFundMe after her son faced a nearly $65,000 air ambulance bill, with her insurance covering only a portion of the cost. What was she supposed to do in that situation? Not save her son?
Yeah.
Tell them, don't air vac him out. What?
He's not that important. Yeah, this is literally
Absolutely
our cyberpunk
not.
episode.
Yeah, like, and of course you're going to say us. I was like, even, I recently read like the Trevor Noah book and he was talking about his mom, and like the doctor was like, do you want us to save her? Like literally asked him, did you want them to save her? And he was like, of course, what are you talking about? And she kept insisting he think about it, because she'd seen so many people basically ruin themselves financially to save somebody's life, and like never fiscally recover from it. And it was like sad as heck. So it's like a very real reality, even for people like we see on TV.
Yeah.
And despite the platform's popularity, a 2017 study from the University of Washington found that most medical expense campaigns fall short of their funding goals, averaging at about 40% of the target amount. And these companies specifically profit off of these campaigns, taking a percentage of the proceeds raised. It's like 0.3, but that's still like, if you're raising a lot of money, they're taking a cut of that money. And situations like this don't have to exist and shouldn't. These are heartfelt stories. These are not heartfelt stories to be celebrated, but rather a reflection of a deeply flawed system that forces us to choose between perpetual debt and our own lives and the people of the lives that we love. So it's gross. But we are going to put some resources in our blog, specifically both for caretakers, healthcare access, resources just to like how to deal with the coming months that are going to be really insane. There's also been, I mean, Donald Trump says he's going to do a lot of things, but he's also recently talked about charging a 200% tariff on subscriptions, or like prescriptions specifically, that will make them entirely unaffordable. So hopefully that doesn't actually happen, but like it's lots of things that are being proposed by the current government and those in charge is going to harm a lot of people. So hopefully as we get through the next few weeks, we'll have more resources that pop up and tell us like next steps for people, so that there are steps that people can take to protect themselves and each other. So
yeah,
if you know of any, let us know. And we'll keep looking ourselves. And
no, it's you know, I think about when this was made and when it came out, and it was, you know, really before something like this could be imagined. Like it was already just remarking on the current state of our healthcare and our subscription services. And like I said, it covers so many like notes, right, of things that we're, so many horrors that we experience. And I even think about like with the GoFundMe, and like that's people supporting other people, right? That's like your community. But it's like, think about all the people who, especially for the big bullshit bill here, were like, I'm tired of paying for other people's stuff. It's like, first of all, we live in a society. Okay?
Yeah, you're going to.
You have to do that. That's what taxes are. Yeah. Right? We pay for us as a people. Right? And absolutely, you can take all you want for me to support others. Like, not like, I don't know why that's a hard thing for people to swallow. But this is like literally that. It's like, I would much rather you take it out of my paycheck, and I know that people are being taken care of and there's free healthcare for all, than have to go to these individual GoFundMes and pay them there.
Or even like private insurance. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to have publicly funded medical care than trusting these private businesses who are corrupt to do this. and then like, honestly, like you're just trading one corrupt system for another corrupt system. And then, but like one of them is affordable and helps more people. Let people be helped. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's such a weird argument, and I really don't understand it. And like, even like the amount of like Trump supporters who like after the fact were like, what happened to my medical insurance? Like they don't understand. Yeah,
they don't know
that like Obamacare was that. And it's like, you needed that to live and now you don't have it. Yeah. You did this to yourself. Like,
so many people who are going to, who were like, oh, I don't have Medicare. I have Cali Care or something, you know?
It's the same
it's thing. Just called something different. And that's just how uneducated they are. I literally just recently, someone told me that a friend of theirs will travel to Bermuda to do like dental surgery. Like it's cheaper to take a flight to another country. Yeah. Get it done by their dentists.
Medical tourism is huge industry right now. Yeah. Going to like Turkey and like other places, like just to get a bunch of health procedures done because it's so inaccessible here. It's cheaper
like,
to go abroad.
I wish they were embarrassed. That's the thing. Like, I wish more Americans were embarrassed, right? Like, when Trump was talking about shithole countries, I was like, that's what we are. You're making us that. Like, you are turning us into a developing country. Because we are so far behind any of the other quote unquote developed countries, right? In so many ways. It's insane. It's so backwards. But yeah, I think like common people in such a like short, concise story is able to hit on so many of our fears in a really brilliant way. So I think like it has really revitalized my appreciation for something like Black Mirror. But it is also like, this is why I really was pushing to cover it for the tech section, because I was like, this is happening. This doesn't feel like tomorrow. It feels like today, much like Companion did as well. Like, it's happening around us. And so do let us know what you think about this episode. Let us know about some of the takeaways you've had while watching it. If you do have resources, right, as a caregiver, as someone who has found a workaround for healthcare and supporting each other and thriving, not just living, like, right, I manifest as thriving. And just to give us some hope, because I do think we're right now in just the shock, right? The shock doctrine of it all. Where I do think people keep holding on to some amount of humanity where we think maybe not this one, maybe they'll come, every time we just hold on. Open. And that's not we're proven wrong, which to me, it's like, I would much rather us keep hoping and maybe one day be true, right? Than to get jaded in it. But I do think that because we're in that moment of shock and just like depression, right? That it is hard to be like, okay, now what are we going to do? Right? Because we're just like still reeling, we are still hurting from that, because it is a lot of people are going to get even more sick, and a lot of people are going to die. That is just the truth of the reality that we're living in because of the administration that is in power right now. So please share your resources, share some hopeful thoughts. What is your favorite Black Mirror episode too? Let us know if you want us to cover more Black Mirror episodes. And if there's one you're like, you really got to do this one. I will say there's a few of them where I'd be like, no. I'd flat out be like, I'm not doing that one.
Fair enough.
Nope. But I'm allowed to do that because I'm a media creator. So make your own show. No, but
hopefully we get ones that we would like to
I'll be like, yes, oh my god, But yes, like and subscribe, and don't get married.
Delete your kids.
Yeah, if they let you have kids, it's an extra fee. Bro. And we didn't even talk about that. Like, she didn't first of all, they're going to charge her more for being pregnant. But it's like, for all the fees and costs, like, I'm like, have to think now, even like, how do I adjust? Like, I have to put in my like, there's like a whole fund that you could be taking extra money out of your paycheck to go towards your health insurance as like fees for when you have those medical expenses, right? Like, how do I figure out how to do those extra things if I'm building a family? Like, sometimes you can't even put your kid on your plan. Like, it's brand new, it's out, and they're like, that's a whole different person. So we're going to charge you for having another person in this room.
They charge you separately. They charge you for your stay and then your baby's stay. Your baby,
this infant
it's
that
so
can't
dystopian.
be anywhere else. Right. They charge you for giving birth. That's crazy. It's crazy. Other countries are like, why aren't you embarrassed?
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
Other countries are like, please give birth. Here's money for doing so.
Yeah,
we'll pay for all your expenses.
And they're like, we'll give you $500. Does that cost enough?
Like, you can get a trophy. A trophy that says you did great in bro.
Minimum. No.
I hate it.
Oh my
It's so
god.
dystopian.
Illy.
No, you're
Illy.
stressed. Oh.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.